Okay, this is a video I really wanted to do for a while. I'm actually using phones that cost a lot of money. We're talking about flagships that usually cost like 1,000 US dollars. So I wanted to do an experiment and actually change my main primary mobile phone with a budget one. And that's exactly what we are going to look at today. As you can see right now, that's the Samsung Galaxy A33. And I've been using this phone for 2 weeks now. This phone is really cheap. We're talking around 350 US dollars, depends on where you're gonna get it. And like always, I have links in the video description for the updated pricing. So this is a mobile phone that basically gets you the job done when it comes to kinda everything. Processing power, camera array, and the price is still not that high. So I want to begin with first doing a quick unboxing, and actually that's the quickest unboxing you're gonna see on my channel, because all that you're gonna get is this mobile phone, that's it, and a USB-C Type-C cable. And that's not a good thing, because the first thing that happened to me was that I got this phone to fall down on asphalt flooring, and as you can see, I already have some kind of damage here on the top, and that happens when you don't use any covers with your phone. Also, this phone does have Gorilla Glass protection, but it's Gorilla Glass 5 and not Gorilla Glass Victus, which is the latest and the best that you can currently have on mobile phones. So that's something that you're not gonna get once you pay for a budget phone like this. Second thing in a budget phone is the processing power, and I want to show you guys something that's really important. I also really heavily tested out the camera array on this phone, but one interesting result that I got here is that I actually got good results from this phone. I'm talking like really good results when it comes to its processing power, depends on the price. So as you can see right now, I actually labeled or highlighted the Galaxy A33 5G, and it has the Exynos 1280, which also exists on the A53 that we tested on this channel. So we have these two phones competing with each other, while the A53 actually costs around $100 more, but the results I got are actually better on the A33 with a single core score for the CPU that's actually higher, 742 against 718 on the A53. So the A33 actually beat the A53 also in multi-core. The interesting results I got here also show that this is not a gaming mobile phone. So for example, if I could game on my $1,000 Xiaomi 12 Pro, this is definitely not something I would be able to game on if I switch to the A33 from Samsung, because the results I got for 3D Mark Wildlife Test, which tests the GPU, the processor that handles all the graphics or graphical operations, are not that good. I got 13.5 frames per second, and compare that to a flagship from 2 years ago, you're gonna get around 30. So we're getting half than what we got on flagships 2 years ago. And the score was 2,259. That's against the latest flagships that you're gonna see this year. That's almost like 25%. So we're not gonna get the best phone when it comes to gaming when talking about the A33. I did do the Antutu test, which doesn't exist anymore on the Play Store, by the way, which is a funny thing. The test here results actually confirm what I got with the Geekbench, with the CPU benchmark on Geekbench. I can see here that I got 10,000 points more on the score for the A33 against the A53. That's 416,000 compared to 505,000. Another interesting thing that I got here is that the A33 doesn't really heat up. It actually got 2.3 degrees hotter than what it was before I started the test. And that's really insane, because usually phones go up between 6 degrees to 9 degrees when I do this test. And this phone doesn't really heat up. It also has a great battery, 5,000 milliamps per hour, and I lost around 3% from the battery while doing the Antutu test, while other phones usually lose between 5% to 6%. You do get IP67 protection on it, And you get the latest and greatest when it comes to Android and the One UI system from Samsung. And that's a good thing, because if you want to upgrade your operating system, you want to switch to this phone. It's really cheap and you would get the latest Android. Another thing that I want to point out, and I actually talked about this with other Samsung mobile phones, is that the fast charging on this device is 25 watts. So it's better than what we got on last year's model, where it was around 15 watt, but it's still not what I call fast charging. So you're going to get around 2 hours of charge to get it fully charged in 2 hours. It's not that fast, and this is something that you do need to point out when comparing this phone to other budget phones in the market right now. I got the 128 gigabytes of storage device with the 6 gigabytes of RAM, so this is where I got all my tests. Now, next thing I want to talk about is that when buying budget phones, there are some budget features. For example, on the A33, you cannot find the headphone jack. And that's something that I kind of wish was here, because I know that many people who buy budget phones buy them for their parents, their grandma, whatever. And these guys usually use some kind of headphones or headsets that are cable-based and not wireless, because they don't want to deal with charging, so on, and other features that you do need to handle when having wireless features on a headset. So this doesn't have the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Another thing that I like that this has is SD card expansion. You can basically expand with micro SD the storage on the device. So the 128 gigabytes you get here is expandable, and that's a good thing. Now, the second thing I want to do right now is actually talk about the camera array. You kind of get a lot when talking about cameras in this phone, whether it's the selfie camera on the front or the back array here that has all the cameras you would probably need. 5 different cameras, and we're talking about ultra wide, zoom camera, a good primary camera, and a depth sensor. So let's just take a look at all the photos and videos that I took during the last 2 weeks. Okay, so the first thing I did, the first test I did, was actually use the 3 different cameras to take 3 different photos. And as you can see right now, that's the ultra wide camera that you're gonna get in this device. The ultra wide is an 8 megapixel f2.2 123 degrees, so you really get ultra wide angle with this device. But just make note of the fact that this has a small sensor on the ultra wide camera. We are talking about a 1/4-inch sensor size. That's not really big, and that means that in low light you will see not that many detail or dynamic range. And in this case, as you can see, this is still a low megapixel camera. I really wish this was a 10 and up megapixel camera, but in the end, when you zoom in, you don't get that much detail. Moving on to the primary camera, which is the best on this mobile phone, and I think it's really a good deal buying a phone like this, as this camera actually has optical image stabilization, which we will see in the videos in a moment. So this is a 48 megapixel f1.8 26 millimeter equivalent lens with a sensor size of 1/2 inch. That's not the biggest sensor, but it's still good enough on a budget phone to get good photos. And as you can see right now, I actually can zoom in and get more detail, even though this is a budget phone. And I like this, what I got with this camera a lot. Now, zooming in, we have 2 different cameras. We have the macro and the depth sensor. These guys are not that good. 5 megapixels on the macro camera and a 2.4 f-stop, but still I wouldn't use the zoom with this camera. It's not doing a good job, definitely not with the 10x, as you can see right now. So we have a lot of photos I did take with the primary camera, and as you can see, I actually got some depth of field with it, but not that much. So not much of a blurry background. It would be hard to get cinematic photos with this. A couple of photos I did on a convention that was basically here near where I live, and as you can see right now, I actually really like the photos I got. This is with the primary camera. I can really zoom in a lot. I can get high detail, so I would definitely use the primary camera even for shots that need zooming in. So the second thing I did here was to take another photo with the ultra wide. As you can see, very wide angle of view, but not much detail once you zoom in. Here's a video, and this video actually shows you how amazing the primary camera on this device device you're gonna get. It's a 4K 30 FPS video, and it looks just amazing. But one thing you need to look at right now is that the OIS, or the stabilization, is not working. And when you have it disabled, you actually get amazing videos on this primary camera. When it's working, the video quality is going to be a lot lower, and as you can see right now, it's very stable, but I don't like the quality. It seems like the resolution was really upscaled for some reason. So yeah, I would probably use the camera always without the optical image stabilization or stabilization enabled. As you can see, some food shots, if you are a food photographer like me, some blurry background, not that much. In low light, doesn't look as good, and the food was actually not that tasty anyway. Yeah, so moving on, some shots of my barbecue time. I actually think this photo came out a bit blurry, no idea why. Most of the other photos I took were better, but in this case, as you can see, some of these shots were actually too blurry, and it seems like the focus was all over the place, but not where I wanted it. Maybe here, who knows. Another photo here with the ultra wide. As you can see, not that much details, but the videos are still amazing. And this is a slow motion video. It starts fast. You can actually record this in a time limited video session. Once you do that, it slows down, starts fast, slows down again, and then moves back to becoming slow. So here's another example of the slow motion. Works really great with my oven, and it's just awesome shots. This is one of the best photos I took with this mobile phone. You can really zoom in to see the dynamic range in it, and I love this photo, and just shows you that you can get good photos with a mobile phone that doesn't cost too much. Here's another good photo I actually like of Shayna the dog. It's an old dog. She's an old dog, and as you can see, some blurry background on it, some separation from the background, and actually a good photo. Some nature shot. I really like the color on this, not too saturated like I see on many budget phones. And this is another photo of my famous lemon that I actually capture in all of my mobile phone reviews. And as you can see, some blurry background. This is really up close, so that's why you can actually see the blurry background here, but with bigger sensors you would see the background explode even more. I did take a video here, as you can see, same shot that I took with the primary camera before in an image, just with a video. Looks just amazing. You could definitely use that. 4K 30 FPS. Taking another up close photo here, some background blur, snapshot of nothing, and yeah, another image of the barbecue that seemed like something's going wrong with this phone for some reason. This video came out nice. It's definitely too saturated, no idea why, but yeah, these things happen when you turn on the AI, which is something I actually did after starting to use the camera to test out its features. So yeah, another shot that I actually like. This is really wide because of the 26mm lens. However, I do think it's best that this is a 26mm and not something that would have been smaller to get a wider area of view. And yeah, good photo of this food that we have, traditional food during the Passover area where we live in Israel right now, and did 3 different photos. Obviously, when taking ultra wide, you want to make sure that you have the focus where you want it, because when you miss that, that's the kind of photos you're going to get. You're going to get missed focus on it. Yeah. Moving on, some soup. And I had some great photos and videos from the sea with the background blur. It just looks amazing. Colors looks awesome. You can really see the sand. I love this photo. I have another one over here. So yeah, I got some great photos with this camera. Basically just on a day on the beach. And as you can see right now, it looks awesome. This is the 4K 30 mode without the image stabilization. I just hold the phone looking at the beach, and yeah, another photo. This is some examples of what I got with the camera with OIS on. As you can see right now, it's really stable shots, but it seems like the resolution went down a whole lot. You can see some pixels on my legs, and it seems like that turning on stabilization just lowers the resolution for some reason, which is something that I kind of think I don't really that like. So I don't like that much. So as you can see right now, another slow motion video, and I'm going in depth with the cameras because I want to show you some real world examples of what you would have done if you had this phone for a couple of weeks. And this is a slow motion recording. As you can see, it's really long. gets the job really done and really well done. And you can actually go to super slow motion right now and just see how slow this is, but the resolution really goes down. This is still usable for social media, but you are time limited when recording like this. Let's move on to the selfie camera right now. As you can see, I didn't get that much dynamic range and not much of a background blur or separation from the background. The selfie camera is a 13 megapixel f2.2 with a small sensor of a 1 on 3.1 inch. So it's not the best when talking about selfie cameras. So all in all, I really had a good time with this phone. If you watch this review, you already know that this phone has good primary camera. It also has specs that are the ones that you're gonna get on a Samsung that costs $100 more. We're talking the A53. The only thing that I didn't talk about is the display, and I actually really like the display on this because this is a 6.4 inch mobile phone and not a 6.7. It's gonna be really easy to hold it. I did find out that it's kind of too thick for me compared to some of the other flagship phones that I tested recently, which are very thin and easier to hold, but it's lightweight and it's not a huge screen, so you're gonna still enjoy that screen. I think the sweet spot for a good screen is between 6.1 to 6.4 inch, and this one is on the edge of what I call the best type of screen, the best size for a screen that I like. And sorry for my English, by the way, if I did butcher the language. I am doing this video in multiple languages. Sometimes it doesn't come out very well when doing videos that are as this long. The screen itself has a Full HD Plus resolution. It looks great. I love how I got the different images and photos on this display, and it's fast. You do get 90 Hertz refresh rate on it. It's a Super AMOLED screen, and I already mentioned before that it uses Corning Glass 5. One thing I do want to point out is that it doesn't have like full screen, so you do have some bezels. You have the chin on the bottom over here, and you have the kind of big punch hole here on the top for the selfie camera. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did, definitely click here to subscribe so you'll see my future gadget reviews. I have some cool stuff coming in. And also I have 2 more video reviews for you to watch of other Samsung phones that I think you will like if you like this one. Another video review over here on the side. Thank you very much for watching. I was Roto Deal. See you on my next future review. Bye bye.